Good evening, Brightsiders. Welcome to another beautiful day here at the ocean. Today I wanted to talk a little bit about putting yourself in someone else's shoes. I know we've been talking a lot about perspective recently, but a lot of that is in your own head. And a lot of times it does start there, about your own personal situations. But I wanted to give an example about how putting myself in somebody else's shoes turned out to be something crazy and magical. So I was out with friends in Portland, Maine. We were walking through some of the bars, and I'm not a big bar hopper, so we were in a country bar, and I love country music, but it was shoulder to shoulder and really uncomfortable. So I decided to leave, and I was walking down the cobblestone street, and I passed a homeless man sitting on the cobblestone road. As I kept walking, I said to myself, I should talk to him. And then I said no, because I was too scared. I didn't put myself in his shoes where he was. I put myself in the stigma of, oh, he's homeless, I shouldn't talk to him. Now, I didn't have any money or food to give him. He had a sign saying, homeless, please help. And as I walked back and forth 3 times, I finally decided to ask him for his perspective on things. I said, hi, I don't have any money or food, but I do have time. Would you like to talk? And he said, yeah, I'd love to. And he moved his bag over for me so I could sit next to him. And we started talking about everything and anything. How he went from living with his parents and having a job to having his own place and having a job to not having a place or a job. And it was really, really interesting to actually put kind of a different image on such a stigmatized world of homeless folks. It really was eye-opening, and the perspective I got was not my own. And it really changed the way I view a lot of things in this world. But that's not all. After talking for a while, I decided to grab a cheesecake from a chocolate bar that was right there, and I only had credit cards, so like I said, I couldn't give him anything, but I did get us a cheesecake, and they cut it up into little pieces because they didn't have forks, and so I sat down, we opened up the tin foil and shared a cheesecake together, and it was delicious. And we started talking about our hobbies, and this is where things kind of got a little magic and a little crazy. So we were talking about how I used to live in New Jersey, and I used to dance. And he was like, no way, I used to live in New Jersey. That's where I grew up. And I was like, oh, that's hilarious. Small world. And he said, I also danced. And I was like, oh, no way. That's really funny. And I said, what kind? And he was like, I was a clogger. And I said, no. And he said, yeah. I was like, I learned to dance in New Jersey, clogging, at Blue Ribbon Cloggers. And he goes, what? And I said, yeah, Blue Ribbon Cloggers. He goes, my mom ran that studio. And he was at the practices with me. 7 hours away, a couple thousand miles away, I chose to sit down next to someone I had met years ago and got his perspective on life again in a totally new way. And if I hadn't chosen to sit down, that magical moment wouldn't have happened for us. And after this amazing realization, we decided to stand up, hug. He went one way, I went the other. And it's definitely a story I will never forget. And he definitely made one of the biggest impacts of my life that year. So, try to take risks. Try to understand a new perspective, even if it's uncomfortable, even if it's not your own. And if you're willing, talk to a stranger once in a while. You might learn something you never thought was possible. Have a great rest of the evening. Enjoy it. I'll see you here tomorrow.